The Met Gala was yesterday, and the celebrities came out with all the looks. I'm gonna break down some of my favorite looks. It was just a show-stopping event, or the fashion. So the theme of the fashion was honoring the late Karl Lagerfeld. Let's get into this. Let's talk about these looks. Rihanna killed it. She had mentioned that it took hours, I think 30 hours, she said, just to do each of the flowers on her outfit. I love this egg look. I love the train. Rihanna is a showstopper. She really just comes out. She comes out and she stops the show. So here we have the beautiful flowers. I love the way that she's pregnant, and this perfectly hides her pregnancy. We know that Rihanna rocks her pregnancy as part of her fashion aesthetic, but I think this is a very interesting way that they showcased her, hiding her pregnancy, because it was different. The thing about the Met Gala is you come correct, you come differently. So here she's hiding her pregnancy, but still looks really regal, really elegant, with this egg look. And I love, obviously, the train. Rihanna's a showstopper. She killed it. Definitely one of my favorite looks. As far as A$AP Rocky, I think he's a great accessory with her. I think, their coupling is very great for fashion. He has a long history in the fashion industry. And his look is also quite unique in itself. He's giving us this Karl Lagerfeld aesthetic, but he has that sort of Scottish skirt, and he's wearing jeans. Let me see if I can get a full of him. I don't have a full of him, but he's actually wearing jeans underneath that. So that's almost like a modern, it's like a historic meets modern look. When you think about Karl Lagerfeld, and I watched an interview that Anna Wintour did on CBS Morning, and she talked about how Karl was like a historian, or he was really knowledgeable about history, but use that as a tool to like sort of understand or very modern as well. Use it as a tool to be modern and understand the future. And I think that actually is represented in what A$AP Rocky is wearing. Very, traditional, top, and then at the bottom, even the Scottish thing that he has going on, very traditional. But then at the bottom, he's wearing jeans, which is interesting. So Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, they killed it. Love these aesthetics, over here. So now we move on to Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs. Showstopper. If you guys watched my live last night, I broke down some of my thoughts on Diddy. I mean, to me, with Diddy, what I love about his aesthetic is, and let me focus on Diddy here. What's going on? There we go. What I love about Diddy's aesthetic is it's giving Henry VIII. It's giving, not even Henry VIII. I'll say it's more of a French aesthetic, a medieval French aesthetic. But it's also modern. So let me break that down for you a little bit. If we can. Okay, so we look at this, right? So we see the French aesthetic with the coat, very big, very bold. But then the jacket that he's wearing underneath, that to me is very modern. So it's almost like this sort of like biker jacket, or just like this cool James Dean sort of aesthetic, with the jacket, juxtaposed against this historic or medieval, big coat. Then we have his belt, which looks like a silk cloth, which gives the, a very pirates aesthetic as well. So that's also giving maybe 1800s colonial era pirate. And then the all black look with the sunglasses, that also modernizes it. And one thing I've noticed about the men at the Met Gala this year is a lot of them were focused on feminizing their look. There's a lot of fluidity or gender fluidity on the red carpet during this Met Gala. And one thing I love about Diddy is, unlike the other men who were pushing to be more feminine, Diddy actually stayed true to his masculinity. He was still able to tap into some of those historic, almost feminine leaning aesthetics, but he made it masculine. And to me, that's part of the magic of what he's wearing. And that's, so whoever styled him, they know what they were doing. They really know what they were doing. He really did impress here at the Met Gala. So, of course, we're going to talk a little bit of gossip. Diddy shows up with Young Miami, but apparently they broke up. She says she's single, but they go together. So I'm going to play a really funny clip with them. Yaya interviews them. Where is this? Yaya interviews them at the red carpet. Really, really funny clip. All right.
I have the $1 million question right now. You ready for it? The $1 million question is, so do y'all officially go together real bad? I'm asking. I want to know.
She gonna answer that.
you not answering that?
No, I'm answering, of course.
It's official? Real bad?
I don't know what you're asking exactly. We definitely go together real bad.
Then that's what it is.
Yeah.
Then that's what it is.
She's my date for the night. She's
it's just a good date night.
It's a date night.
We don't put titles on it. Everybody wants us to put a title on. We don't put titles on it. This is like my best friend in the world. One of the most beautiful people God has blessed me to meet.
Absolutely.
And I'm blessed that she's my date tonight.
Last question, Pup. Tonight we're honoring Karl Lagerfeld.
I got a chance to spend time with Carl, when I was designing Sean John, just as a fellow designer, and he was so creative, and he has so much attention to detail. Yeah, you get some of that. You want some, baby girl?
Thank you.
No, his attention to detail and his attention to beauty.
Yeah.
It's just
We
hot,
go
baby.
together.
Look at this, y'all. This is what
All right, whatever. So,
I'm
what can I
wearing the
say?
Sean John cape.
Nah, this
Oh,
cape is
okay.
crazy. Like, the detail
That's
on
a
this
Sean
cape is crazy.
Whoa.
Shout out to June Ambrose.
Wow.
The first Sean John collection, so it's a little hot. So I'd rather you ask Carisha some questions so I could go get my cape fixed and I could get all this sweat off of me because I'm hot.
I love you
So again, with him, I love this jacket. The jewelry, it's really part of the accessory. The flowers, I guess, Karl Lagerfeld is big with the flowers. Great, reimagining of what Karl is. I think when it comes to Karl, it's a lot of white and black, but more so white. So it's interesting to me how he chose the all black look that gave it this masculine aesthetic. And then with Carisha, if I just go and show her, with Carisha, her look is interesting because it's giving 1920. So I don't think she's really capturing that Karl Lagerfeld look because it's giving 1920s performer, if you ask me. And what's interesting about her look is that there's this, she's wearing a lot of clothes, yet she's not wearing any clothes at all. So let me just show you, she has her whole booty out. She's wearing this draped look. She has this big fluffy, thing around her face. What I don't know, fluffiness around her, and then even at her bottom. So she's wearing a lot of clothes, but yet she's still very revealing. So that's the interesting contrast in her outfit. Very interesting choice of clothing, and obviously they wanted to make headlines coming together. We go together, but I'm single. And she's been saying that she's single and she ain't got no man, but they go together and they're best friends. So whatever the case is, it's obviously part of the, thing that they were going with, they're gonna get people talking about them no matter what. Next is Doja Cat. Now, I made a whole video. I did a live and I covered Doja Cat, but let me recap some of the things that I had said. My analysis on Doja Cat. With her, her aesthetic, what I love about Doja Cat, and I said this before, is that she's not afraid to break boundaries and be different. And the thing about fashion is that everything has been done before. So she's venturing in the realm of what hasn't been done before. And to me, I know that Karl Lagerfeld, claims that, fashion is not art. He's a dressmaker. He doesn't really believe that. But I think the world does accept fashion as a form of art. And so between the, the fact that she's this is costume design right here. This is like she's in, it's like, you know, she's in a film. She's literally taking what you would, the aesthetic of a film set or a play, and she's bringing that onto the red carpet, and she's bringing that into fashion. And one thing about Doja Cat that really stands out in a very different way from Lady Gaga and other people that have sort of reinvented themselves with these show-stopping looks is her characterization. I'm going to play a clip of an interview and, you know, with Doja Cat. And one thing about her is that she did not break character throughout this whole event. Well, I guess I wasn't at the event, but she didn't break character. That was the theme that she was going with, you know, that was the theme she was going with. And she did her best not to break character. So let me play this clip really quickly.
Okay, so tell me all about this. Wow. I mean, who made it? Wow. Wow. Okay, so something a little different. So, what was your inspiration for tonight? Be honest with me and go into detail. Wow. 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 So, what are you excited to see in there today? Wow. Is it your first Met? Wow. I'll see you in there.
I love that she did the kiss at the end to just kind of, you know, say that I'm not being disrespectful. This is part of the art. This is part, my personality, my persona is part of the piece, the outfit. She's really moving in the realm of performance art, which is open in the fashion world, definitely open now. So the thing about Doja Cat that really is intriguing to me is how, unlike other pop stars, she is not afraid. She is not afraid to break beauty norms. It's very difficult for you to imagine somebody as beautiful as her, that is also a pop star, that is also phenomenal, not use her sexuality, or not only use her sexuality as a tool for attention or as part of her brand, yet she's still sought after, she's still seen sexually. That is a real talent. And, you know, I definitely commend her team for being able to do this. So you have songs that are literally about, I need to get Doja Cat. I need to get Doja Cat. Chris Rock in his comedy show talks about how now he's trying to date Doja Cat. So she's the new Beyonce. She's the new Rihanna. She's the new person that keeps getting mentioned in every song. And we know that she's very beautiful. We know that she's very sexy, but she's going to come to a red carpet, or she's going to come to a fashion event either dressed as a trans man or dressed all in crystals. You know, she's going to stop the show and she's going to reinvent herself, and she's not afraid to showcase what is not conventionally seen as beautiful, yet she's still sought after. So I think Doja Cat did it with this in terms of the creativity of her outfits. Yeah, love every bit of this. You know, the dress itself, the dress itself is okay. I love the train. I love the fluffiness at the bottom. I love the finishing. But when it comes down to her as a performance artist and merging that in the fashion world and still managing to get our attention, I thought that was interesting. I would have liked to see her put the crystal display on for this Met Gala. I wish she saved that specifically for this Met Gala. But I imagine it would have been very difficult for her to attend the Met Gala with that. You know, fashion shows are quick. They're like 15 minutes. She can get all the attention, sit for 15 minutes and go. But the logistics of the crystals, the red crystals at the Met Gala all night, it's going to be quite, you know, I can see why she didn't do that for that. But I think that would have been, this would have been the show to go all out and do that, because, you know, it's giving Rihanna, you know, in the egg dress from, I can't remember what year that was, you know, back in the day, and still till this day, people wait for Rihanna to attend the Met Gala. They want to wait and see Rihanna. And I predict in the next, you know, 3 years, it's going to be Doja Cat. We're going to be waiting to see, maybe even a couple years, we're going to be waiting to see what Doja Cat wears at the Met Gala, because in the fashion world, she's really grabbing our attention. Next up, Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X, You know what I love about Lil Nas X is that he's really a game changer, and he's really put the gay community on a map in a fabulous way. I did mention Doja Cat crystals. I definitely think he was probably inspired by her when in this, and maybe it's a good thing that she didn't wear the crystal outfit, because if he had worn this, they would be competing against each other. Or maybe he was inspired by her. But what I will say is, this is, dress up. Performance art has always been a part of the gay community, the LGBTQIA plus community, the trans community, the drag community, but it's never been pushed in the forefront in mainstream media, especially in music, in the way Lil Nas X is doing it. And I love how he sort of opened the floodgates for the gay community. Even now we see Sam Smith now even stepping into that aesthetic as well, or that performance-ness as well. So love Lil Nas X's outfit. Let me go through, or lack thereof. Yes, you can see it to him. This is all a performance. We know him to be, come in costume, and it's an interesting thing of the day. Just like Doja Cat, it's all about the costume these days. And risque, he's not afraid to show his body. His whole ass is out. He's wearing a thong. He's not afraid, and he's obviously not afraid to be over sexualized. I have a video about the over sexualization of Black femininity. He's not afraid to do any of those things, and he's really an interesting piece to the puzzle. He's an interesting person to watch. I think between him and Doja Cat, those are the two people in the fashion realm that we're going to be looking out and waiting to see what they're going to wear to these shows, if people aren't already doing that. Great performance. There's one other thing I was going to say about him. I've lost my train of thought, but I will come back to it if I do remember. Janelle Monáe. Now, I absolutely love and adore her outfit here. I absolutely adore it. I want to show you guys a clip, that kind of just showcases everything about this outfit that is just magical. But she killed it, absolutely. Here we go. So we watch her on the red carpet. Look at that. I'm going to turn off the music. So the thing about her is, it's almost like, oh no, this is an ad. Okay. In the same vein as Young Miami, she's wearing a whole lot of stuff, but she's not wearing anything at all. I love the pop art-esque aesthetic that comes with it. I think that is also reminiscence of Karl Lagerfeld. I love the performance of it. I love how she's using it as a prop for her performance arts. And I love how it's really reinventing fashion. I don't want to get to Kim Kardashian yet, but it's really about her reinventing fashion. Really, just her body is great. She's showcasing her whole body in lace form. I think this is fantastic. I love the coat over this invisible veil. It's a fantastic look. I think she killed it. Janelle Monáe, I feel like a lot of people sleep on her, but she's been in the industry for I want to say like 13 plus years. She's one of those like unsung heroes, but keeps showing up and keeps getting invited to these events, and she's killing it with the movies that she's in right now. I think that a lot more attention is going to her, as is deserved. So definitely very impressed with what Janelle Monáe is doing. All right, of course we have to talk about the Kardashians. Now let me play this, continue to play it so we can see the Kardashians. So the thing about the Kardashians to me is I can almost see their light almost dimming and fading. Oh, what just happened there? I almost see their light dimming and fading. It's almost as though because before it used to be, what are the Kardashians going to wear to the Met Gala? But I don't see a lot of talk about that anymore. There's so much attention on, first of all, there's so many celebrities these days, but there's so much attention on what everyone else is wearing that I don't really see that. I actually think all of them actually killed it. In my live, as I saw Kylie for the first time, I was like, what's going on there? But now that I look at this dress full blown, let me go back to Kylie. When I look at this dress full blown, I love the sleeve, the red, the poppiness of the red. And if I show you a clip of Kylie, how she's used it as a coat, this is going to be in a moment. See that? How she's used it as a coat over her clothes. And I love that blue that just pops out. It's I think it's a great aesthetic. It's not on theme, I don't think, or maybe because Karl Lagerfeld, he designed for many different designers. I think he was a creative director for a bunch of different designers. So maybe perhaps it is reminiscent to one of his collections. He had a long career, so who knows? But when I see this, I don't think Karl Lagerfeld, but I do think fashion, and I do think fantastic. And I love it. It's almost like she's wearing a 2-in-1. Like she's wearing this beautiful dress, but it also has a double purpose also as a coat. So that's fantastic. Then we have to show some of the hidden moments at, the red carpet. She's here trying to, put some pizza in her mouth. Obviously, I think this is obviously a PR stunt to get our attention going. And then is the person behind her wearing her, that's so funny. I think he's wearing her outfit. Hilarious. So that's Kylie. Where am I? Let's go back to the other Kardashians. Kylie looking absolutely stunning. So I really love Kendall. I love the style of it. I love the cut sleeves. I love the train that is coming out of her freaking sleeves. It's like she's just completely reimagined the train. And while she's bearing a lot, but she's wearing a lot of clothes at the same time. It's so I love this contrast that we're seeing repeated on the red carpet. First of all, I love the crystals, the sequin. This whole look on its own, it's its own look. And the beautiful, the way that the sequin sculpts her body, it almost looks like a mannequin. Then the hair, the makeup, absolutely fantastic. Let me go back to Kendall. There we go. All right, so Kendall there has a beautiful train there that we see. Has her legs are out. Everything is just so well put together with her. Let me see if I can get another Kendall before I talk about Kim. There we go. Look at that. It's, I love everything about this. One thing I will say is that I understand the need to have high boots with the shoes. I did not like the buttons on the shoes. Personally, I wish it did without it, but I understand why. Because it adds more information, visual information, that is a contrast to the all black. That suits this sort of, cream on black look. Definitely great. Love the swimsuit appeal, but she still managed to have the contrast of having a full-blown train coming out of her sleeves, almost like a superhero. She killed it. I think Kendall definitely knows what she's doing. She's showing that she's not only a fashion model, but she's a leader in the game. She out-fashioned both Kim and Kylie. She's showing that she really knows what she's doing. Look at that. All right, so of course we have to talk about Kim, Miss Kim K. I mean, Kim killed it too. I think it's so interesting because this time, it's almost like they didn't let Kim steal the show this time. Last time she did with the Marilyn Monroe dress. People have been saying that Kim Kardashian no longer has Kanye West to style her. So what is she going to do? What's she going to be able to do? And look, you can always pay for a stylist to come and, some of the best stylists in the fashion industry to come and help you put some clothes together. And that's exactly what Kim did. I love this look. It is very classic. It does stand out. It's a stunning look for sure, but is it the best look of the night? No, absolutely. Is it a showstopper? No. Is it innovative in a way that you look and say, oh, what's Kim wearing? No. But is it a great look? Is it a beautiful aesthetic? Does it perfectly match and suit Kim Kardashian's body, aesthetic, and everything, her brand? Absolutely. So I think that definitely with them together, and there's all this talk about them not attending, they were not invited to the Met Gala. There was all this talk, but I love that, this time they said, look, we're only going to get the main three that are relevant to the fashion world now. We're only going to let Kim in, because how can you have the Met Gala? You don't invite Kim anymore. At this point, she's put herself as a staple in the fashion industry. Same as Kylie. Kylie's young and hot. She's trending. So of course I think, and then obviously Kendall has to come because she's actually in the fashion industry. So it's a great look. It's a great look. It's a great look. All right. Now let's look at everybody else. I think I'm just going to stay in the corner here. So yeah. So let's look at everybody else. Is this everybody else? No wonder I was so confused. All right, Jay Leto. Jay Leto stopped the show with this one. I think he played Karl Lagerfeld in the movie. I don't know if that movie's out yet. I don't know if anybody knows anything about Karl Lagerfeld and cats. Let me know, because Doja Cat's, dressed as a cat. Doja Cat. But Jay Leto is also dressed as this big cat. So is it something to do with Karl? Was he obsessed with cats? What is the relation with him and cats? Did he use cats as his inspiration for his fashion? I don't know why, but cats seem to be a theme here. I like how Jay Leto, not only is he getting our attention in this way, but we also see how he's perfectly wearing two separate outfits. He's showcasing, let me go back to Jay Leto. He's showcasing, I can't find the outfit of him, but he has beautiful makeup. Again, there's a lot of the feminization of men and gender fluidity in the fashion industry. And it's almost like there's a switching of roles, with men are being more feminine, women are being more masculine. It's showcasing in sort of this gender fluidity that we're promoting in culture. And that's one thing that makes these moments different from future times. People say fashion is the same, fashion never changes. But in reality, when we look at this, fashion is different now. It's now more acceptable for men to dress more feminine, for men to have a full face of makeup. And these are straight masculine men are being pushed out in the media. So 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, this was different. This stood out. But I wonder how this translates into the real world. I wonder what this will mean, if it's going to inspire the future generations of kids to dress more feminine. And what is actually interesting to me is that what we consider to be masculine about 100 or so years ago, it was not necessarily masculine. Men dressed in what is traditionally seen as feminine today. So I like how they are breaking, they're not confining fashion or what is expected of men and women in fashion to sexuality or to gender. And that's an interesting thing that's happening, or non-binary thing that's happening in the fashion industry. I don't know if I used the term right in that case. So Jay Leto, of course, again, another person that's in this sort of performance art type of situation. Who else is there? Okay, Austin. So Alton Mason, I got it. I know him actually. Alton Mason. I love this aesthetic. It goes back to what I was talking about, the feminization of men. I love the veil. I love the train. It's giving the bride theme. Karl Lagerfeld had a big positioning against that. And it's so interesting to me because they have really politicized this event in a way that I'm not sure that Karl Lagerfeld even aligned with. So I'm going to play this clip of Anna Wintour at CBS Morning, and let's see what she has, what they have to say about this.
Critics have said we should not be celebrating someone who made fat-phobic, racist, sexist comments throughout his career.
Well, obviously, Carl was a complicated man, and I think Andrew's decision really to focus on the work and it's not a biography, there are documentaries and books that cover all sides of Carl's life. We're really focusing on his work.
When you hear some of the things he said, at one point he talked about Adele's weight. He said, no one wants to see a curvy woman. He said, of the Me Too movement, I'm fed up with it in 2018. When you hear comments like that, and there's a long list of them, what do you all think? How do you reconcile that with what we're going to see?
Carl was provocative, and he was full of paradoxes, and I think sometimes he would say things, Gail, to shock, and not necessarily things that he believed in. And obviously there are things that he has said that Andrew and I do not agree with. But I think when we go back and we look at the work that he has created over so many years, I think that deserves celebration, it deserves acknowledgement. I think it will be...
I don't like the way that she avoided and deflected that conversation, because that's a real thing. She didn't really give the right answer. But I do think that I personally separate the art from the artist. I separate the art from the artist, but the question is, do we specifically elevate certain people? And for me, with Karl Lagerfeld, it's different from, say, a Chris Brown, who has actually sort of done bad things to people, or... you can list all the other people that have been, in domestic violence cases, or who are actually, perpetuating a certain thing. With Carl, these are comments. Yes, comments are influential, and you do galvanize these hate groups around fatphobia, around misogyny, around, ignoring abuse against women. These are real issues. But at the same time, we have to understand that we cannot, I don't think it's right necessarily to blame the people as opposed to the system, because we are all a product of our environment. And this is something really that's for my other channel, but I talk about how certain things were acceptable 100 years ago that are just not acceptable now. And for us to villainize everybody that lived in that system, I don't think that really does justice to, awareness around history. This idea of that we should silence people. So Karl Lagerfeld, he clearly rose in a different time. He clearly came from a different time, and that was the tune of the era. That was a tune where you shut women up. You don't allow fat people on the red carpet. You white supremacy, all of those things. That's the era that he's born into. Now, did he create those systems? No. A lot of times people are ignorant even to the systems. They don't know why they think what they do, because they're easily brainwashed and they're consumed. And that is what people in the future are going to look at our generation and say, these ignorant idiots, look at them doing this and that. They're so ignorant. So at the end of the day, I think it does a disservice in this context specifically to shame him, or not shame him, but to completely dismiss his work and his art because of he was a product of his environment. And the last example I'll give you, in 200-300 years ago, slavery was completely acceptable. Are we going to demonize all the people that existed in that time for their racist, white supremacist ideology because of a system that they didn't even create, but they consumed? And they didn't even have the option or the tools to consume information or to learn information to teach them otherwise, to see the truth. There was no mass social media. There was no access to even books. These things were all curated by the white supremacist institution. So I just think that we are in a time where we have more access to information, and I think we should give them empathy for their ignorance, because a lot of times it was not necessarily their fault that they were ignorant. You could say books were available, even books back then. You couldn't even be an author of a book. Who's going to publish you? Who's going to fund the publishing of that book? So that's a difficult conversation, but I think who's going to fund? So back then, like, even to get funding to publish your book, because that costs money, paying for the print press, somebody has to read the book and approve it. So people that were speaking the truths that we know now, and the access to information that we have now, because of we're in the information era, because of platforms like TikTok, like Google, like YouTube, they didn't have that then. And they were a product of their environment, which was based on the conditioning of the control of the media establishment. And that happened way up until way up until the 21st century. In fact, even in the 21st century, until social media. So around maybe only about 10 years. We're only 10 years into the into an era where media is not controlled. We're only 10 years in. So we have to just understand that people were ignorant then, and that should not, deter us away from their art. Because if it really comes down to it, then you'd have to dismiss all art, right? So I don't think Anna Wintour answered that question right. I don't think she has the information to. She's deflecting, but I don't think she knows better, right? She doesn't, hey, Anna, hit me up. I'll help you answer that question next time. So let's go on. Alton. Yes, absolutely adore this aesthetic. Jessica Chastain, if you guys watched my coverage yesterday, oh, she's such a babe. Like, I just love it. I love what she wore at the Oscars. I love what she's wearing now. She has this very youthful aesthetic. I love the hair. I love the makeup. The makeup look makes her on the red carpet look so much younger. I think because this is a close-up, you can see, she looks her age, but, the way it looked on the red carpet, it just looks so beautiful. I love the blonde hair, which is so different for her, but it's so complimentary and looks so great in contrast with the black dress. Everything about that, the train, the fluffiness. I think those are flowers on there, but she's still wearing lace. She just killed it. To me, one of my top looks for sure. Absolutely killed it. Gigi Hadid, she really showed out. She really showed up and showed out at the Met Gala. Gigi Hadid killed it. To me, I just love everything about this. I love the jewelry. The jewelry is very Karl Lagerfeld. I love the lace. I know he has this very bridal aesthetic, and I love that they're using these bridal laces, a lot of people, but they're using it and they're making it black, which is in contrast with that. Absolutely love what she's done with it over there. Next up, Burna Boy. I love that Afrobeats is in the house. I love the fact that Afrobeats has arrived. Not only one artist is there, but two. I do wonder why there are only two Afrobeats artists that were invited, especially when Davido and Wizkid have both released albums this year. And I do understand that Tems and Burna Boy are more mainstream US. But I do wonder if this is that system that they used to do with Black Americans, whereby we can only have two of you. How with Beyonce and Rihanna, how we only had two R&B singers from about 2005 until 2015. We only had two of them. I wonder if that's what they're proliferating right now with Afrobeats. Oh, we can only have two of you in these prestigious, or one or two of you in these prestigious events. I wonder if that's just what I'm curious to know. But in terms of his look, his aesthetic, I love that he's not afraid to dress in a more feminine aesthetic. I think he's wearing Burberry. I do like that they use the same material for Stormzy and what's his name? Skepta and Burna Boy. I love the flow and the femininity of this dress, but he's still, owning his masculinity. I love the train. I think that with this event, they're really reinventing what we expect from the train. We saw Kendall Jenner with the slits and the train coming out of her arms. With him, it's this scarf, or it's a belt that he's using as a train. Still leaning into his masculinity, but feminizing it in a way. But we're not here questioning his sexuality. They're really breaking the barriers of gender and sexuality in these looks. This is obviously a very straight man, but still dressed in this feminine way. And I would love to see men wear this, up and down. I love the lace that he's wearing, the material. I love the bow. Everything about it is great. Bad Bunny, another one you see with him, a train. They're reinventing the train with this. I know Karl Lagerfeld was big on the bridal theme, but they're incorporating this bridal theme with men and women. So he has his bridal train, very feminine, flowers. Same, Rihanna had the similar aesthetic, but with his, just as Burna Boy, it's still masculine because his train is his scarf. It's not even really reinventing the train. His train is his scarf. It's all made out of flowers. So we're not even, who would expect a scarf that is made out of flowers? Who would expect a train that is a scarf? And then of course he has this white suit that's very plain and very, but it's, what I love about it is the contrast in texture. What I love about it is that it stands out. He's wearing something so traditional, but at the same time so revolutionary, so different, because he's reinventing the train, and by the texture of the train, and he's reinventing it by making it a scarf. So this is exceptional. He's definitely one of my favorites. Tems, so for me, I would say out of all the looks I've seen, I wasn't very impressed with Tems. She did sort of stay true to this Nigerian aesthetic. This is a very Nigerian, the head thing, and I love that. Like I said in my live, I love how she sort of has said, "Look, I like big hair. It's the African thing. We wear big hair, the gele that we tie on our heads. But this time, I'm gonna be respectful to whoever's sitting behind me, and you're gonna be able to see." So it's almost like a commentary, a social commentary of sorts, and I love how this speaks to the fact that outfits tell a message, and Tems is saying that she's learned from her mistake and she's doing things differently this time. I do think that as much as there's a Nigerian aesthetic to this, it's still a Nigerian aesthetic that almost replicates a European look. So this is, I believe, 1950s. It's definitely an American, look, a performer's look. It doesn't do it for me, to be honest. I don't think she's done anything different, anything that stands out. It's a very cliche to me. I don't know. I don't love it. I do love, what I will say is that I love the gloves. Similar to Kendall Jenner, who had that sort of V slit with her train sleeves. She has this V slit in the opposite direction for her gloves. That does add an interesting dynamic to it. There we go. And then we see her train. It's an interesting aesthetic for sure. Naomi, of course, Naomi Campbell killed it. I talked about the pink. I love the baby pink that she has on there. Where are we? I was talking about what happened. Yeah, so Naomi, love the baby pink that she has on there. Love. I'm just going through this because it's like making me lose a lot of this stuff. Where are we? There we go. I love that baby pink that she has going on there. I love the statuesque aesthetic that she has. I love the silver, backdrop. So it's giving a very ancient Greek look with Naomi, but at the same time, she's modernized it with the silver. Her makeup looks phenomenal. She looks phenomenal. She's really killing it. Naomi's an icon always. Look at that. Very sculpturesque, very iconic, Teyana Taylor. Teyana Taylor is one of my favorite looks, if not my favorite look. I talked about this in my video, in my live stream. What I love about this, and I've seen this in a few other dresses or outfits, I love the masculinity at the top, but at the bottom, she's being feminine. She's showcasing, Teyana Taylor has an incredible body. She's known for her body. So she's giving us a little glimpse into her body, but has this very, very, very straight to the point masculine aesthetic at the top, very Karl Lagerfeld. At the bottom, though, she's giving us femininity. She has a train. And then when it comes to her makeup is very Michael Jackson. Her makeup, very Michael Jackson, very great, strong features. She really does stand out. This whole look, this aesthetic really stands out. I thought there was a really funny moment that she had on the red carpet, which I'm going to play very quickly. She brought Chick-fil-A. She brought Chick-fil-A to the red carpet. Imagine that. Teyana Taylor is embarrassing me. She brought Chick-fil-A to the Met Gala. I want her away from me. Harlem. I think that's Usher. That I don't know who posted that actually, but that's hilarious that she brought Chick-fil-A. So all these like little moments at the Met Gala, which was interesting. Apparently there was a roach. Somebody, and I love this. I love these little social media moments that shows because like, you know, these events they're just so glamorous and so, you know, iconic, but it brings the humanity into this. It brings the reality into this. There are cockroaches that were invited to the Met Gala. Cockroaches were invited to the Met Gala too. So if a cockroach can go, maybe you can go too one day. That cockroach is like, no, I am coming in. You're not going to stop me from entering this Met Gala today. So that's absolutely hilarious. Loved that. Let me see who else killed it at the red carpet. Teyana Taylor, of course. Back to more Teyana Taylor. Lala, love this look. I talked about it earlier. Absolutely loved her look. So I talked about him too on my channel. Brian Tyree Henry, Paperboy. Again, with him, he's very similar to Diddy, but he's really owning that 1500s medieval era look aesthetic. And I love how he's masculine, but still a little bit feminine at the same time. Unfortunately, this is not. I don't have the full picture. But I did talk about it on my live, so definitely go check that out on my live where I broke down, you know, his aesthetic. But absolutely adore it. I love that I think he's wearing a little bit of makeup there. Love the jewelries. Love the jewelry. Love everything about this. The finishing. The how big, you know, it is. It's giving me the Tudor era. So there's, you know, Diddy was more of a French medieval era with. Brian, is that his name? Sorry. Paperboy. Yeah. Brian, he's giving a British, Tudor era. So I love how they reimagined it for the modern era. And it speaks to what Anna Wintour said about Karl Lagerfeld, that he was a historian. He was very adept with history, but he also brought history into the modern era and was a futurist. And so I can really see that in this aesthetic. So it's giving, you know, 1500s Tudor, 1600s, you know, medieval England, but at the same time, it's modern, it's fresh, and it's still masculine at the same time, which I love that. I love it, absolutely. Same here with them. I would say it's more, well, at least with Dwyane Wade, he is more 19th century. So still tapping into you know, history. Or well, I'll say not even 18th century, more of like a colonizer, or maybe a conquistador, or maybe even just an American colonizer aesthetic, a knight. Love this aesthetic, all black too. I love how they're all making it, they're firming themselves, even though like there's this sort of fluidity with gender fluidity that's going on the red carpet. These black men who are not as accepting, but clearly he's very accepting of the LGBT community, but the black community in general, not as accepting of the LGBT community. So these guys, as much as they have still tapped into a little essence of femininity, what we consider feminine today, but what was masculine in the past, they're bringing that into the modern era, and they're saying, look, we're going to make it all black to maintain the masculinity of it. And it's absolutely beautiful. What I love about Gabriel Union's outfit is the red, the popping of the red. She's doing her own thing entirely. They do complement each other, but I don't even see her tapping into a prehistoric era. I see her, and it's funny, the irony is that their outfits are so similar, but she's tapping into the modern era. To me, it's a lot closer to Blade, but she's doing something completely different. And I love the red, the popping of the red, just an incredible aesthetic. I think that's everybody. Those are my thoughts on the Met Gala looks. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all of the above. You're watching Brand Video Pro, and I'm your host, Kenim O. Let me know your thoughts on the Met Gala looks. What were your favorites? What was your least favorite? And make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Kenim O, signing out. Peace.